Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ETC podcast. I'm your host, Shibby 2142, and to my left I have Elliot.
Great to be here.
And also joining us today on 101.3 The Shibs, we have Maddie.
Sibilance. Just testing my mic.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, if this never works out, we all have a great future in terrestrial late-night FM smooth jazz radio. So Ricky's not here. He is on a plane to England.
What a sucker.
Because while we are just the best at ethical journalism across the board, we're not the best at scheduling things like podcasts that take up large blocks of time.
So literally the last thing we're doing this week is this.
Yeah, had to cram it in for all of you people out there who just somehow enjoy watching three grown men sit around the table with microphones, answer questions from Twitter.
It's really a lovely thing.
I mean, I'm happy. It gives me a job.
I also listen to it in the car, so I'm not sure if I'm going to listen to
Oh,
this
yeah, you're one of the car
Yeah.
listeners.
And speaking of which, I have to keep driving this plane home because apparently we don't enough. But you can get this as an audio podcast. It's hosted on SoundCloud. Just go there, type in the ETC podcast. Boom. The same is true if you go on iTunes, Stitcher, whatever. You can find it. It's audio. Put it on in the car, the gym, the bus, whatever.
You sound like David Cross in the pre-tape sketch show or pre-tape call-in show on Mr. Show. Remember that?
No.
The pre-taped call. Oh, look it up. Pre-tape call-in show, one of the best sketches ever. Remember, it's a people are calling in, but it's about last week's topic. No, animals was the previous week. This week we're talking about the elderly. We got your feedback.
Very
Anyway.
Mr. Show premise.
One of my favorite podcasts, I'm an audio listener. I download it on my iPhone through the podcast thing. It works great. I listen to the Giant Bombcast a lot, and they talk about video games, and they do emails it's like a 3-hour podcast at the end of every episode. And say one viewer talks shit about Australia. For the next 3 weeks, they have Australia emails of why Melbourne sucks, why Sydney's the worst, or why it's great. It always is like a rehashing. It's great.
Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts, the Biggest Problem in the Universe, they have a voicemail that kind of escalates into that same thing. I want to find out how they set that up, but it'd be awesome to get a voicemail and let all these listeners.
We can probably figure that. It's like a Skype thing or Google Voice thing. We can figure that
I'll
out.
have to look into that.
Yeah, audio file sent via Gmail or something.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
It'd be
eventually.
better just set up a hotline and then just be able to have it show up. And Maddie, you have questions.
Yeah.
Well, other people's questions, but you have them written down.
Well,
so let's get into them.
Shibby, this is your first time on the ETC podcast,
Well,
right?
no, he was on with Brett.
Yeah, with Brett. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, Undar.
we have a few specific Shibby questions
Oh,
here
fantastic.
for the Shibby fans out there.
I'm ready.
Okay.
You have a lot of fans. You are verified on Twitter.
Yeah.
Somehow.
With your name @Shane,
Yeah.
which I'm convinced you stole that from some just like 13-year-old kid who lucked out in 2007 by getting @Shane on the first day of Twitter.
Let's not get into that one.
All right.
But
All I'm saying is
I
that
can
some
actually go on the
shady
story,
things happen over at Twitter.
It's fine.
I
I can actually go into that story if you want.
Oh,
to
no,
hear it.
I'd love to
please.
hear it.
Right. So, a guy named Rod, I'm forgetting his last name, starts with a V, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but I met him at the first YouTube Space gaming meetup. And that's where Optic J, Fwiz, Rishi, a lot of our former coworkers or former bosses at the time went. And this was at the YouTube Space down in Los Angeles. It's really a pain in the ass to get to, at least especially from here.
Playa del
Rey.
Vista. Yeah.
Something like that. And Rod worked on the team, and now he left YouTube to go to be Twitter Gaming to start that up. And knowing him, I heard through the grapevines that he is able to pull some strings, being in the position that he is in. And I saw that the @Shane handle, getting a first name on Twitter is very hard to do, obviously. Also, very small words, also very hard to do. Was inactive and locked. So then I hit up Rod saying, hey, Rod, great meeting you, blah, blah, blah. And then I linked him the @Shane account, and I was wondering if I could acquire this. I know I'd lose my verification on Shibby. I could claim the handle after, or however that works. And then he really helps me out with getting it, and he put it right to his team, and it just kind of transferred. So
these are the perks you get once you're a verified individual on Twitter.
So I guess if you want to make that move, it was finding the name you want, but it cannot be active. For example, if I wanted @Shibby, that is, I think, some person in Iceland or something, and it's an active account, so you can't just take it from them.
Okay.
Unless
Okay.
maybe you're like.
So no one was harmed.
No, it was fine.
You stole it from a dead child,
Yeah,
not an active child.
it was a dead account, so that's how I got it. And it was a very random occurrence.
I want to know the story behind someone who got at Shane probably in 2006, 2007 then when
Yeah.
it first
Yeah.
was launched in like South by Southwest,
Yeah.
and then just
I
Didn't use
mean,
it.
I know that, like, I had a Twitter account, not right at first, but I had one in, like, 2008 or so, and, like, everyone's like, oh, you need to get a Twitter, so I got one, and then I was, like, just completely forgot about it for, like, 4 years. So, I mean, I can see every time, it doesn't happen as much anymore because everything's kind of locked down in its specific sphere, but, like, back when social networks were, like, there was a new one every couple of years.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, yeah, get on this one, get on that one, get on
Get your name.
Facebook, get on MySpace.
yeah,
For sure.
Hello.
Yeah, if you're trying
Yeah.
to be a brand or you're a YouTube gamer out there listening to the ETC podcast, which is obviously very lovely, you want to usually jump on those new mediums right away and claim your name. I think that's
Yeah,
very important. That I think branding, you want it to be all the same. So at the time when I had the Shibby 2142 Twitter, that's what it is for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Steam, all that stuff. And I think having consistent branding is really important.
But is your branding consistent anymore?
No,
Okay.
but
so-
So that's thrown
yeah.
out the door.
Yeah, but I think it's there's a good.
But there's an
excuse.
exception because
Yeah.
at Shane is
It's-
an
I think it's cool.
pretty
exceptional-
solid.
And it,
Yeah.
I guess one funny thing that's happening now is I get tagged by a lot of young girls and just random branding accounts. Say there's some coffee out in Oregon. They'll say like, "Thanks for coming at Shane," and then some person's last name. So they're
Oh,
just,
yeah,
they're-
yeah.
I'm randomly getting
Yeah.
tagged
So
now.
people
on a
that
bunch.
don't know how to
Yeah, they don't know how to use
Twitter.
social media. And there was, I think these two like high school girls were tweeting each other like, "Oh, did you talk to at Shane today? Blah blah in class." And when they're like,
they're
giggling-
talking about you,
they're
dude.
like giggling back at each other. I'm just like,
Why are you hanging out
and
in high
I
schools?
tweeted
Yeah.
them and they all started freaking out. It just, I don't know.
Oh wow.
It was very, but that's one thing that when you have a first name account that you start getting a lot of random stuff.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also if you are going to try to be a YouTuber,
Just
come on-
don't. Just
well,
don't.
First of all, don't.
Don't.
Yeah.
Focus on your studies. But if you're making a name, make it something that doesn't already exist.
Yeah. Yep.
Something that is couldn't even be mistakenly made. Like our old colleague Fwiz is just at Fwiz. 4 letters, very succinct, but it's just literally a nonsense word.
Yep.
So that worked out for him. And Hungry Hundar is a pretty solid one too.
Yeah.
I think he's that across the board. Ricky for the
well,
win, very smart.
Brett's Instagram is bread hungry, which is very
Oh,
strange. I don't understand that.
And meanwhile, I've just never come up with a cool gamer name, so I'm just Elliot ETC at this point. Who knows what it'll be next?
I don't know.
I've always just used my name. I don't know. I'm not creative enough or clever
Yeah,
enough
me too.
to think about like a name like Fwiz. I don't know.
Well, like your handle Shibby 2142.
We
like,
can go into that story as
that
well.
was
if you'd
like your
to hear it.
gamer tag, like
Yes.
in high school or some shit.
All right, so here's how that story went down. If I haven't-
Which also probably you can go into. Which the question I was going to ask you, Huckside. What made you start doing YouTube videos, Shibby?
Sure. All right.
So
well,
I'm sure this
we'll,
all
we'll get right
together.
into this. So, when Xbox Live first came out, I was in middle school, and we were looking for gamer names. And around year 2000 is when the movie Dude, Where's My Car came out with
Okay,
Ashton
yeah.
Kutcher and Sean William Scott. And the catchphrase that they would say is Shibby. So, this party is so shibby. That girl is so shibby. I got so shibbied last night. Like, we got to cut back on the shibbying. They would just use
Yeah.
the word for whatever. And I think if you look on Urban Dictionary, the word means cool or rad or awesome or really whatever you want it to be. So when we were watching that movie, we've watched it a bunch of times, I was given the name Shibby, and my friend Brian got the name Zoltan from the movie. One of the guys
I
like,
remember
Zoltan. So he got that. And then when I
But
made
your
it,
name is actually Shane Burris, so
Yes.
it makes
yeah,
Yeah,
it
Shibby
works.
makes
And
sense.
I wasn't really going there with
should
that, but
be Shane Burris.
yes.
Was that an accident? You had to have known.
No, it just Shibby. I just really like that word.
Okay.
All right, so then it goes. Let's get further into this. All right,
Okay.
so YouTube. I made my account in 2006. I've been on YouTube for a very long time, and the YouTube.com/Shibby was taken. I could not get it. So then I was thinking, gamer tags. What do people do? They put their birthday. Like mine would be 1988. So Shibby 1988 would be really stupid.
Yeah.
Or that's what people do. Or they put 420 or 69 or whatever. I'm like. And also, the game I was playing at the time was Battlefield 2142, which to this day I still think is the best in the
Yeah, I
franchise.
played that game. It was good.
With Titan mode, all that kind of stuff. Wish they'd make 2143. Anyways, I just thought, well, people put numbers, 2142. So then I claimed that name. And then if we get into my first YouTube video, the reason I started YouTube is there was this guy in Germany who would play Battlefield 2142. He was the #1 ranked player in the world, and I thought he was cheating. So I randomly found him on a server. He'd play all day, quote unquote, if you were watching the video or listening on the audio podcast. And I was able to prove to the world that he was just AFKing or away from keyboard. He was not actually playing, and that he would have some kind of program or script just keep him from getting kicked for AFKing. Basically, he would sit as one of the people in the game. It's called a commander. And the commander would get team points, and if the team won, you get double points. So anyways, he was able to accrue points by not actually playing, and he got #1 in the world from just AFKing commander all day. So what I did was, my first video was, I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this guy down. I'm going to knife him. So then I joined his team, and I went prone, because that's something you can do in the game, and I pushed him outside of the Titan. It's AFK on Titan mode. So it was an area where I could switch teams then, and then I got onto the Titan, which is like the end objective, and I knifed him. And it was his just lifeless body standing there. I got his dog tag, which is something you do, and I uploaded that video just to prove, just to like say, I got him, I got you.
Yeah.
Wow.
To this day, I think the video, I put some copyright music, maybe from POD, on it because I didn't know what I was doing.
Wait a minute.
We-
Like, what
mean-
POD? I haven't heard that band name.
Something like that. I think it was POD.
Or School of Hard Knocks or something. They had that song that was like really big.
God.
I mean, some
POD.
of some
They were
of their
like
music
a Christian metal band,
yeah,
right?
for a little bit, right?
For a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then when I was getting my
POD.
channel partnered by Machinima, which is, to this day, perpetuity contract, all that kind of great
Of
stuff.
course, for life.
But- for life.
They own your child. Not even born yet.
So when I was getting partnered by Machinima, finding out Machinima was the exclusive gaming network at that time, and make that YouTube money, I was really excited. Like, oh, I can start monetizing my content. It'd be great. I didn't start for the money. Let's just put it out there that way. This was later down the road. Basically, I had to private and get rid of that video because I didn't want my channel getting scanned and like, oh, copyright music.
This guy thinks he can use POD?
Yeah. They're going to
Damn.
come after you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of that story.
So what happened to that cheater after you exposed him?
He kept doing his thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
He gave a shit.
I mean, I'm sure he felt bad. Or not.
I had his dog tag. I knifed him.
Yeah.
So I think his name was his clan tag was Nam, and then his player name was Kane with a K, like the wrestler. I think. So
If you're listening, Kane Nam, we got you.
I got you exposed.
You've been exposed. But like now you don't do shooters as much. You do
No.
like
So my
the realm stuff.
yeah,
the, like,
professionally.
The fantasy wizarding.
The wizarding
shit.
of magics and no weapons. So yeah, Realm is right now a lot of MOBAs, League of Legends heavy, and with Brandon just starting with Hundar departing, we want to do other MOBAs. Heroes of Storm Smite, no Dota 2, no Dodo. Tried that, and that got just destroyed by the League fans. They see it as a threat. It's a much harder game.
Well, you
so.
can only like one of every category. That's,
Yeah.
that's the rule. You're
That's
not
the rule.
allowed to like.
Yeah, you can't like Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Yeah, you have Marvel or DC. You can only pick one.
Yeah.
Like that's
we
the rules.
we obviously all like DC.
Obviously, of course. DC is a wonderful company owned by a wonderful parent company, Warner Brothers Entertainment,
Fantastic.
as we all
Yeah.
know.
The greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even joking.
We got another question.
Sure, keep 'em
gaming
coming.
related. This is for all of us, though.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So, I think there's a lot of baggage to this question.
Oh.
Okay.
And because there's not really a preface here, but it's, the question is from Brad Edmonds 96. All joking aside, do you actually like Nintendo? Because I feel like we
this
have
guy
like
was born
chat-
in '96, so
Yeah.
he's still.
See, he did the number thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I know exactly how old you are. That's a liability because now I'm immediately going to treat this like you're a little child. Well, 96.
20 years old.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy?
That is not a child.
no.
Oh, that's
That's a
weird.
grown-ass
Oh,
man.
Wow, that's weird. Because I
Yeah.
was a child in '96, or I was 11, I guess. Wow. Okay, never mind. I misjudged you. 'cause
We
I
have bashed
no sense of
Nintendo in the
time.
past, though. And
I mean, I don't know. Like Nintendo, I'm not a huge gamer either way. My opinions aren't strong, but from where I stand, like Nintendo has created a completely separate ecosystem for themselves. That like when I do have the opportunity to use it at people's houses or at conventions and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But you're kind of buying into the Nintendo ecosystem when you do that, and in turn, you're kind of not allowing yourself to play a lot of the big tentpole franchises that you get on the other consoles and PC. So it's not that I have anything against them. It's just like
no, that's a really good way of explaining it. They're like kind of like they're not in the same ballpark anymore. They're like created their own like sport.
And that's
in
been
a
like their
sense.
saving grace.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, like they've set themselves apart. They're really good at what they do.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hurting them now, though.
Is it?
Yeah,
I think so because their numbers are not what it was. Wii U is considered a failure.
Well, they're starting that whole mobile games division. That
The
scares
whole
too,
me.
yeah.
and the NX, and
Yeah.
it's a well, you might be able to play or connect it with the PS4, and I think what Nintendo really needs to do is start accepting that they can't just be on their own continent, and that they need to work with other publishers and developers to really either license out their content or something where PS4 players can play their IP and then drive some sales to Nintendo and really expand their universe, I think.
I think that is definitely like if they were a politician, that would be like their campaign, I think, or that would be like if someone was coming in to say like save Nintendo, but they're a weird company. Like you can't like gauge like what they're gonna do because for one, they're a very Japanese company, and most like gaming companies by now at this point have become like westernized. Like especially Sony,
Well, yeah,
who has like a European CEO.
And Nintendo has a very kind of like singular vision for everything that they've done for the last like 25 years. Like there's Miyamoto and then the other fellow that died recently. I can't remember his name.
It's escaping me right now
yeah,
on the spot.
I feel like a real asshole.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's like those two guys like were responsible for like every major release. So it's you're not getting as wide of a spectrum as you do on these other consoles, but I mean, luckily for them, the people that they have making decisions seem to know gaming pretty
And
well.
was the question that do we like them or not? Because I think for me,
do you actually like
early
Nintendo?
on in my life, the handhelds were always legendary. Playing
Yeah.
Pokemon was always crazy fun. That really like got me into addictive gaming, I think.
Yeah.
Because the original Nintendo or Super Nintendo or the N64 I never owned, so I can't really like, oh man, that one game was amazing or whatever. But the handhelds were always super awesome. I don't own a 3DS currently. But at the point I started disliking them is when they started pulling all that YouTube stuff where it's they basically claim all their that's as a content creator,
Very
I
tone-deaf
I
thing.
really have a problem with that, and it feels like they were not trying to reach a medium with anyone. They were just kind of like just throwing the hammer down, and this is how it's going to be. There was no discussion.
And not really seeing it from anyone else's point of view, which is like, it's like, dude, every other game developer and publisher is cool with this and sees it as like free promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just choosing to see it from another completely different perspective.
No, it's definitely an example of them not understanding the bigger picture when it comes to like kind of playing nice with the content creators, the gamers. It's like a triad now of like content creator, gamer, and the companies that all are kind of promoting these IP.
And the type of revenue that they're probably pulling in on the people who still upload Nintendo is probably so small.
Yeah.
Because the bigger, smarter YouTubers won't even touch it.
Right.
And that's losing on a ton of free advertising. It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
So I think in the modern day, they are kind of frowned upon. But and I think for me, like they're like the nostalgia is still there. Like I grew up a Nintendo kid.
Yeah.
So like I had an SNES. I had a Nintendo 64. I had a Game Boy.
Yeah, that was my first like big console that I spent just thousands of hours using. And
So I probably have played most of my life. Like if there was a pie chart, like a big portion of it being just Nintendo.
Yep.
So I think I have a very strong affinity for them and the brand because of that. But now they're kind of like they're kind of hopefully not becoming like Sega became in the late 90s, which they just end up failing as a hardware company. Hopefully they can still pump out like they still make like Mario Kart 8. Have you played it? It's
little
a
bit.
solid
yeah,
game.
it's fun. I mean, yeah,
It's not-
People
it's-
always have their complaints about just like anytime Nintendo releases like a new Smash, people are, oh, this is the one they fucking dropped the ball.
Sure.
Why is that 0.10% that I can slip at one point?
Yeah.
RNG.
But yeah, no,
They're
like
still
Mario
churning
Kart,
out good games though.
Yeah, it's still the same basic concept they've been doing for 20 years, and like,
Yeah.
it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome if Xbox or PC players could get their hands on that kind of stuff and,
Yeah.
and really just blow them up and just bring Nintendo up. And it sucks that they're kind of on their own island. Which
I agree.
I understand, but it sucks.
I agree. I don't think that I don't see that ever happening because I think they're so specific and like to the point where they're like making these controllers for their systems specific for their games.
Yeah,
And they don't
like
want
you
to.
couldn't play this on another console
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
you wanted to.
Exactly. So I would love that to happen. I mean, when they announced the whole mobile games thing, I think everyone kind of did the 2 + 2 = 4 and just like thought, okay, we're gonna have Mario on our iPhones, and
awesome.
then
Like, nope.
it's like this Miitomo thing. It's a community that you're trying to create.
Yeah, it's just really
it's a social network essentially in games.
It's very
weird.
Japanese.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm like, okay, no one in America gives a shit about this, but
Yeah.
maybe in Japan and Korea, because I just don't get it. Yeah, I think the biggest reason why I'm just like don't really give a shit about Nintendo is because they're still very much invested in like the shared living room experience, which like once you're out of high school and college, you just rarely ever have.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, if I had like kids of my own or something like that, and like all like gather around the TV and play like Luigi's Mansion or whatever the fuck,
Or 3DS.
Like, yeah,
too.
like that kind of shit's fun. And like even on the first Wii, like the big draw was like, oh, like get everyone together and play like Wii Sports, or
Yeah.
play
So
like
good.
WarioWares.
So good.
Like that was like, and even then, that was like one of the only gaming experiences you could have that really felt like back in the day, where it's like all your friends could gather around the TV and play something. Like even the shooters that still have split screen, which few of them do now, it's like it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's sad a lot of people watching this or listening to it will never have the LAN experience of like Halo 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
4 different people on the same screen and like, oh, you're ghosting, you're screen peeking,
Yeah.
or all that. That was
Yeah,
just so good.
Me and
Yeah.
my friends, we used to like set up 2 TVs like back to back.
Yep.
And have like
Teams-
4-on-4.
Yep.
It was
The different floors, the basement and upstairs, and pound on the floor when you
Yeah.
like win. Oh my gosh, just some of the best gaming experience of my life for sure.
yeah, I miss
Definitely.
that. And it's like now if you wanted to do anything like that, it's like, okay, every one of your friends needs to have a $500 console and a screen.
Yeah.
and, like,
$60
carry it
game,
over
or-
to each other's houses.
It's a
and shit.
different. It's so going back to like them being an Asian company too. Like I just watched a documentary on Korean gaming, and so they have this PC bangs they're called, or I think like bongs.
Bongs, I think.
Yeah. Like it's a huge like they're everywhere in Korea.
Yeah.
And they like most people like young people will like go to Korean barbecue, get dinner, and then go to a PC bong and play League of Legends together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's like a night out
We
for a
got
lot of
shit
young
like
people.
that here, but it's
not as
still
not
very
nearly
niche.
as popular.
Yeah, I mean it's like I think it's on the level here as like the same as like tabletop gaming places. Like they exist, and
Yeah.
like if you go there, like they're packed with people, but like you'll only find one in every like major
Yeah,
city.
but what I could see is like a game like Mario Kart and maybe like something like a Wii Sports Evolved becoming like kind of a karaoke experience. You know, where you like rent a room, you can play
Yeah.
Mario Kart with your friends, you can play Wii Sports, and then bring your own beer, and then that's it.
Someone needs to tell because so here in LA there's a very 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 large Korean population, so a lot of Korean style karaoke. Someone needs to start one of those places and just put a gaming console in
Yeah,
every
test
single
the
room.
waters, yeah.
yeah.
I
'cause,
would
like,
totally go to a place to play Mario Kart.
yeah, if you're just waiting around for your turn to sing, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, if they kept
Give
the
'em something
consoles
to do.
clean and would sanitize properly, that's one thing that
Well,
always
that's the thing, too.
weirds me out. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it would be great.
Yeah.
It's a great
I
idea.
agree.
I'm gonna start a karaoke
Gamer-oke?
Nintendo bar
Yeah.
and just rake in the cash.
Let's do it.
You're gonna get a copyright claim.
Oh yeah, Nintendo's gonna come after me hard.
Yeah. This next question I'll direct to Shibby first. Since
Fantastic.
Ellie and
Good
I,
guest.
we talk about movies a lot on ETC, but we don't talk to you about movies a lot.
Not too much.
So XDUSX asks, what is the movie you most look forward to in 2016?
Run me over some of the big releases, just so
Batman
I don't.
v Superman,
I say something
Suicide
stupid.
Squad.
We got Civil War.
Yeah, we got Captain America: Civil War.
We got another Star Wars movie coming out in December.
yeah. Is Guardians coming out? 2016?
Guardians comes out 2017.
Wow, okay.
There's some
We got
big choices
Doctor
here.
Strange. We got I think Hunger Games is over, so that's done.
Yeah. That's done.
I mean, those are the big like.
Yeah, those are the big tentpole movies.
Oh, the X-Men Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Everything else, it's like yeah.
Are you a fan of a certain franchise that has movies coming up?
Let me say, I love DC properties.
Okay, so you're
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Batman versus Superman because I am curious how Batman will actually fight him
yeah,
and how Superman doesn't just
like
go
this. It'll just be like this.
or Batman. Or, yeah, Superman just like you're dead, just like
Yeah.
kill you. I don't understand how that's gonna go down.
Yeah,
if there's kryptonite in the armor or something.
I think it is. Yeah, on one of the most recent trailers, like Superman goes to punch Batman. He's able to block it. So
Yeah.
I
it's
don't
like,
understand
what?
that. So I'm kind of curious. The curiosity is
Yeah.
how you can fight that man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we cover we've like opined about fucking Batman versus Superman so damn much on this show.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Because it's like one of the only things that there's still like uncertainty about. Like with the Marvel stuff, you kind of know
Yeah.
what it's gonna get. They got a track record and shit. And this one, they're just like, oh, this could be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope
And,
it is.
and I also say the Captain America movies I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was it number 2 when they're all the airships and they're like fighting and things are going crazy and they're crashing into the ground. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie as well. Winter Soldier, I think.
Winter Soldier is probably like the best. I think the best like Marvel movie, like pound for pound, for sure.
Those Russo bros.
Yeah, they were good. Okay, so Batman. It's like a month away.
I'd say,
Batman
yeah,
vs
it's
Superman.
Coming up soon.
Those two. The one is the curiosity, and the other is I've really enjoyed what they put out so far with Captain America.
Yeah, Elliot, what are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, it's hard to like look that far in advance. I'm looking forward to coming home from London next week and trying to squeeze in a viewing of The Witch.
Oh yeah,
Because I hear that's like really good. I don't know that Key and Peele movie, Keanu, where
Oh, yeah.
they try to save the cat, looks really, really good.
yeah.
I love whoever writes for them. Those guys are so funny.
Yeah.
They really are just great.
Yeah, pretty much anything they do, I'll
Yeah,
follow.
we haven't had a lot of trailers, so it's hard to like get a picture of the whole year because we get them, these kind of slowly trickle out. so.
Midnight Special.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that could be
very
really good.
excited for that. That's like Michael Shannon plays a dude whose son is basically like an X-Men style mutant with like crazy like powers that he can't control.
Yeah.
And so he's like trying to like save his son from being captured by the police and like captured by a cult who wants to turn him into like their Christ figure.
I've been told that everyone is a mutant. It just depends on how the gene is expressed.
Yeah. And if they put you in a little tank and take the oxygen away from you, eventually you'll reveal your mutant powers.
Right.
At least according to Deadpool.
Yeah,
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Midnight Special is also a Warner Brothers property, so it's gonna be
Fantastic.
amazing. Yeah.
Another good Warner Brothers property that I'm genuinely excited for
Yeah.
is what is it, like The Good Guys or
The Nice Guys.
The Nice
Yeah.
Guys. That's like that takes place in like
1970s,
70s, and it
70s.
stars Ryan Gosling and
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe.
It's a Shane Black movie.
Yeah, what did he do before?
Iron Man 3 and
Okay,
Kiss
yeah,
Kiss
yeah,
Bang
yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, Kiss
I'm
Kiss Bang Bang's a great
huge
movie,
Shane
so.
Black fan. I mean, screenwriter. I mean, he's written Lethal Weapon. I forget, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah.
Long Kiss Goodbye. Good night. Yeah, I'm very excited for that
It
one.
just
That's
looks,
something I was
yeah,
just
it looks
thinking to
really
mention.
funny and like cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've listed is coming out shortly.
Pretty soon,
I don't know
yeah.
what like the big holiday ones are. I mean, obviously, like Rogue One.
Yeah, yeah.
Next December is gonna be like a big fucking deal because that's
And
the
Doctor
first.
Strange as well.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange. I know nothing really about
Yeah.
him other than like the Wikipedia bullet points. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping like that breathes some new life into like Marvel by having something that's like way outside of what they've done before.
Right on.
One movie, as far as holiday, I think this is coming out on holiday, but this is a movie I don't know much about, but I'm very excited about it because it's Martin Scorsese. He has a movie coming out this year called Silence, and it stars Liam Neeson and Andrew Garfield, and it's about 17th century Japan.
Really?
Wait.
Yeah,
Scorsese directed it?
yeah.
Oh wow, that's a big. So is Leo not in it?
Leo's not in it.
Oh wow, that's like
This
his
is-
first movie in like a decade that hasn't had Leo. In it.
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, so it's about
Okay,
Japan?
I don't know much about it. I've only know like the synopsis on IMDb, but it's about two. I think they're Christian missionaries, like who go to Japan to try to
Convert.
and shit ensues essentially. Yeah, like it's
Isn't that the same plot of The Mission, a Scorsese movie?
Yeah,
from the
I think so.
1980s?
Yeah, I mean it's probably why he's doing it.
Yeah.
he likes that material. But
Well, that sounds really. I mean, unless I'm sure Scorsese won't make another Last Samurai.
he didn't make the last.
I
Samurai.
know he didn't make that, but like that movie was fucking bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah, by the way, the Last
Oh, yeah.
Samurai is Tom Cruise.
Oh man, you should have I saw that movie with my dad, and my dad's full Japanese, and,
Yeah.
and when he coming out of that movie, he's like, "Fuck this!" man.
It's like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise like murders a man in battle, but like his wife lives by the Japanese honor code, so she like takes Tom Cruise as her new husband. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
what?
know that much Japanese history, but I'm calling bullshit on
Oh,
this
it's-
right
it's-
now.
I have not
pure-
seen it, but that sounds like bullshit.
It's
It
ridiculous.
actually wasn't a terrible movie,
Yeah, it was
but
fine, but like the cultural implications
yeah,
of it.
totally. It's like this is total as white fantasy. This is
Yeah.
like it's like What's the other that Kevin Costner movie?
Oh, Dances with
Dances with Wolves. I mean, Avatar's like that too.
Yeah.
It's like this white person entering like an indigenous culture and being their savior. You know, not that the Japanese were indigenous, but there was a transitional.
To Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this one, I mean, I've only seen images, and Liam Neeson's awesome. I haven't seen him in anything that he hasn't like been, kidnapped or his daughter's been taken
or killed
He's
people
in a while. So
He's a good actor who hasn't done anything that good in like several
while.
years
Yeah.
because he's become like Hollywood's go-to like. So we were talking about Taken recently, and like that whole series is just like middle-aged
It's dad fantasy, yeah.
fantasy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
if I'm so protective of my daughters, like, oh man, if my daughter ever got kidnapped, like I would personally go and like kill everyone in my path to get her back.
Right, or it's like these like dads who are so proud of their skills, like their martial arts skills, and they just wait for that one day they could use those
Go
skills
a little too
save-
over top.
Yeah.
Or
It's
like a lot of movies fall into like the like gun owner fantasy.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying all like American gun owners are like this, but I think a lot of them
Oh,
are like,
yes.
you know what? Like one of these days something bad could happen.
Someone's gonna trespass, and I'm gonna use this thing.
And they're like, obviously, like most people don't want that to happen, but in the back of their mind, they're like, I hope they do try it.
Yeah,
'Cause I'll
there's
fucking
literally
go
a movie.
all Liam Neeson
There's a
on.
movie called Shooter starring Mark Wahlberg. Which
Oh,
is,
yes.
I think when I saw that, one of the biggest like gun propaganda
Yeah.
I've ever seen about this like guy just like camping up in the woods with a sniper, just
Oh,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like if you come, I will shoot you. Like that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie.
Yeah, he's shooting down helicopters with sniper rifles.
Yeah,
It's- God bless Mark Wahlberg. Mark.
But yeah, Liam Neeson. So yeah, he's basically either been the Taken guy or
Yeah.
like, oh god, I saw some great. I can't remember what it was on, but it was like
He was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Clash of Clans.
Oh yeah,
Right?
it was.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in. He's done a lot of funny little cameos, but every movie that he starred in for the last like 10 years features him holding a gun. So it's like
Yeah.
it's become this hilarious trope where if you see them all next to each other, it's just so silly because it's just Liam Neeson with the same facial expression holding a gun.
Yeah. Three
Okay.
Taken movies. Yeah, nonstop.
So now they've transported him to a time and a place where guns do not exist.
Yeah.
So he'll be holding a
I'm
sword.
excited for that, just for that, and then just him being in a Scorsese movie. That could be really interesting.
Well, he was
so.
in Gangs of New York, like the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. He
Okay.
was. He played Leo's dad in like
Oh,
the
okay.
flashback
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the beginning of the movie. And he was great in that movie. He dies
Yeah.
literally in the first scene. You're like, oh,
I think I
that
remember
sucks,
now,
because he
yeah.
was really cool. So yeah, all right.
Well, it sounds like in this Japanese movie coming, they won't just have a machine gun or something. So
No. They'll have samurai swords.
They'll still find a way to do Quaaludes. though.
throwing stars.
It's just him with the poster is him with a throwing star and a plane
They
somehow.
took
like-
away his guns, but he's still got a throwing
Yeah.
star.
No, Andrew Garfield's also in that movie, and Adam Driver. So I
Wow.
mean, those like the cast is just like stacked.
Good actor.
Adam
So
Driver.
I don't know
He's
anything
hot.
about it.
Driver's so
It's like
hot.
Mogatu. He's very hot. He's really hot.
Yeah. Also this year we get this the second film, the guy who made Whiplash, and it's a musical called La La Land.
That movie
You
was
heard about
badass.
this? Well, you liked Whiplash.
I love
I liked
Yeah,
it too.
you liked Whiplash
I did.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this year his next movie is called La La Land, and it's a musical starring Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
like an actual full-on like
Yeah,
musical?
yeah, it's supposed to be like Singing in the Rain, like a homage to those kind of films.
Is it going to be kind of like the Notebook? I was going to say the Network, and it's
I mean, maybe from a love story standpoint, but
So it's like a romance, or
yeah.
you get the
There's
panties
only
wet.
like a photo of it so far, and it's like
Well,
just
I mean,
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone dancing.
I've made it known that I don't give a shit about musicals, but
Maybe this is the first
maybe,
one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Emma Stone's a fine-looking female.
Yeah,
say
she
Yeah.
she's really grown into her face.
Okay.
I like her. Other than Aloha, I like her.
Oh, that movie sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to find Asian actresses
Yeah. Right.
in major cities like Los Angeles and shooting locations like Hawaii. Like they just,
Especially
they
Hawaii.
go running high when they see a camera.
There's not that many Asians in Hawaii. Like they have to bring in the heavy hitters.
Yeah,
like
you
Emma Stone.
gotta bust them in.
Yeah.
How would someone from Asia get to Hawaii? It's
Yeah.
Certainly not a popular travel destination for that
No.
culture. Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. So I mean, totally understandable.
Yeah.
Put Emma Stone in there. Oh, we got any more questions?
yeah.
Oh, the last question.
And this, I'll direct this to Shibby first. At Sir Future asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Shibby?
Wow. Well, I will say that I love the YouTube platform, and I love the gaming space, and I would like to see myself somewhere within that. So whether it's working at YouTube proper, if YouTube's still a thing, or the next thing, I really enjoy working with creators and talent, quote unquote, like ourselves. That I think it's really special. It's fun. It's entertaining. There's always something new to learn, something new to try. New games coming out, new techniques in editing, new ways to capture VR. I'm really curious how you will display that when you do content creation. Streaming has been a big thing, which no one really would have seen coming. So I think somewhere in that space. But I initially went to school or college for biology. So I was planning on going to med school.
Okay.
But then I was doing YouTube as kind of like a hobby, just enjoying gaming. And I made that Battlefield video, and I did some Team Fortress 2 videos just because I was playing that at the time when Orange Box came out in 2007 in October. So maybe fall back on that on my schooling. But
I don't know, maybe I'll be a doctor.
Yeah, but until then, I really do enjoy this like content platform.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
If you were a doctor, would you like go in full Tugs persona? Like,
Oh man.
So the type of medicine or practice I'd like to go
0 to
into
10.
is radiology. Yeah, this
Okay.
X-ray, this break sucks. It's not good enough. Yeah, didn't even go all the way through, you little pussy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it would be taking X-rays and doing that kind of stuff. I think it's really interesting. The human body I find fascinating. So I think,
Yeah.
And radiology to me would be the perfect blend of medicine and also working with technology, which
Right.
I love.
Yeah.
I'm a geek, so I love tech stuff.
I haven't talked to you about this, but your dad works for the Packers, right?
Indeed.
As a doctor?
So he was the head trainer.
Okay.
But then they bumped up the younger guy to the head trainer below him, so his assistant to head, and now he is the director of athletic training or
okay.
or some kind of something like that. So he'll be retiring, I think, in 2020.
Okay. He's got that date set.
Because I think so. He'll be of age to retire, and just makes sense that it's time. He's been there in the NFL for 35 years or
Oh,
something.
wow.
He's been there a while. Like he's one of the most tenured people around. So
That's crazy.
yeah, and he loves it. He has one of the coolest jobs. He's a really lucky guy. I've been really lucky to go to games and meet players and really just be humbled by just how normal these guys are, but they get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's really special. And yeah, so he's one of the guys basically that runs out in the field and assesses the player when they get hurt and
Oh, yeah, it's a tough job.
how to rehab him. And
Yeah.
he'll joke and say he's a janitor or he makes the Gatorade, but it's a lot more than that. So.
Yeah. That's a pretty good job to, like, if your parents come into school for, like, what your parents do for work day.
Career day.
That's a career day. That's a pretty good job as a kid,
Yeah.
being like, yeah, my dad works for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best franchises out there. Yeah.
Still, like, I think fan owned, right? Aren't they like community owned?
Yep. I have
That's
two
amazing.
shares of owner stock.
Yeah.
Yep. So I should put that on my resume, like NFL owner.
Yeah,
you are.
should.
Yeah.
Co-owner.
Yeah, however that works.
Wait, how does that work then? I don't know if you know this then, because NFL owners vote on a lot of stuff for.
So it is.
How does that work with the Green Bay Packers?
Then all the fans can vote, or the owners can then.
But there's a
vote.
democracy within the Green Bay Packers
Yeah,
organization.
as far as I believe, I just give my 2 votes or however it works to my father, just to be
Okay.
like
Yeah,
do
it's
whatever
like a
way.
shareholders meeting.
Yeah, shareholder. There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes
And then
sense.
they all get at the stadium. They get together and they have a discussion. And I know there's a board of directors, and I'm sure they have influence on ways things
Sure.
go and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's the only fan-owned franchise, smallest franchise. Green Bay is a town of 100,000.
yeah,
So
and they'll never leave because it's like
no,
it's
I mean
like
it's
historic
Yeah.
landmark at this point.
I
You
mean,
know?
in Wisconsin we don't have a hockey team. There are the Milwaukee Bucks, which are very average,
Yeah,
and that's basically it. There's the Badgers for college football.
yeah. I always thought that was interesting because there's
Oh, the
towns
Brewers
like
for baseball.
right.
Yeah.
There's towns like Buffalo, and now we're getting into sports stuff. If you don't care about sports, whatever. But I care about it. There's towns like Buffalo which have the Bills, and every year there's discussion of like, okay, we're gonna take the Bills away from Buffalo.
like, that's
which
all
is
they
like-
have.
That's like all they have.
Yeah.
So because I cannot imagine. I mean, Green Bay is such a historic like town and franchise. Like you can't take away the Green Bay from the NFL. I feel they're so married to each other. But hypothetically, if that situation ever came about, like I can't imagine how
People would literally riot and
Yeah,
burn shit
they
to
would
the
burn
Yeah.
ground.
what good like
Yeah.
and I feel like Buffalo would do the same. I mean, it hasn't got close yet, but there's always been discussion like, oh, well, we'll move the Bills to LA because
Well,
obviously
that's what Rams, Raiders, and Chargers we
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
right now. Or
Right.
Rams.
And the Bills are always in that discussion because they're in Buffalo and nothing's
Yeah.
in Buffalo.
I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are also kind of always in that mix because
I don't understand.
they suck and
They were an
Florida doesn't really
expansion
give a shit,
team.
or I don't know.
They were an expansion team, and like so, someone decided to have the team in Jacksonville, which I never understood. Maybe because they wanted multiple Florida teams, but anyway, I'm just fascinated by small towns having huge franchises because they become like those games become like town hall meetings for those for those towns with like 100,000 people in them. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And speaking of moving franchises, I think the Rams get to Los Angeles in like 2019 or something.
Yeah. No, I
Anyways.
think they're gonna
No, it's
play. They're
sooner.
gonna. I think they're gonna play at the Coliseum this season.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
People
the
are
new-
already buying up tickets. to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The new stadium will be opening.
I'm just wondering, like the HR and the meta behind moving families and selling homes and cars and how that all goes down. Of like you're moving thousands of employees. Like what is?
Right.
How does that go down? That must be insane,
that's,
right?
Everyone gets a couple brown paper boxes. And,
Like high end real
Oh, you
estate
mean like
is
the-
probably
how do you like
buy right now because like players need to move, and
Yeah.
if you live in the St. Louis area where Rams families might live, there's probably a lot of houses going up for sale.
And
right?
it's like obviously all of or most of the like franchise employees are gonna come with the team. Then you have an entire stadium full of like minimum wage, low wage employees that are just like, well,
Yeah.
shit, our
Yeah.
town just lost like a huge employer.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're gonna demolish the stadium. I think they're still gonna have like a Kenny Chesney concert there or something.
Sure,
you know,
yeah,
like,
everyone needs that.
yeah.
I mean, St. Louis is a
but-
big town, so
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like they're ruined by this.
No, I never felt bad because they have the Cardinal. They have like other
Yeah.
big franchises.
And the
but
Cardinals are good.
The
so-
Cardinals are really good, but I just always think that's fascinating. Like Sacramento has the Kings, and they don't have anything else. Like these small towns are so tied to these huge franchises, and Green Bay is probably the most emblematic of that. Like
Yeah.
I can't think of anything more tied to
Yeah.
like Green Bay, the NFL, and the Packers in that town.
Yeah.
How much are like game day tickets for a Packers?
So we have season tickets, and they are, I believe, between $72 and in the playoffs $110.
That's face value.
Face
right?
value.
Okay.
And
No one buys tickets at face value anymore.
right, but at least for my family, through NFL and stuff, you're not supposed to
Sure,
scalp
sure.
tickets.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always face value that we've
Yeah.
dealt with. So
I mean, I do love that. Like, this is becoming less and less the case, but like the Dodgers, you can still go see like a Dodger game same day for like $2 or $3. It's gone up to like 10, but like
Right,
there's definitely
right.
days because I live near Dodger Stadium. Like summer days when I wouldn't be working, like me and my roommates would be like, let's go to the Dodger game and like
Drink beer.
literally pay like $2 on like a StubHub thing.
So you can have a Dodger dog, basically.
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
literally
like
just
brawling
sit in the
fries.
stands and get a little bit drunk. And
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
it's like,
Dodger game
whatever.
is like that's such a good hangout. Like baseball, it's not the most engaging sport.
No, definitely
So
No, that's half
it's-
the fun.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not missing much.
yeah. I agree. Yeah, and football you don't want to watch at home anyway too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta get all the angles. You got the slow motion.
unless you want to partake in the tailgating, watching at home is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Green Bay because cold outside.
Going
Yeah.
to Lambeau is an experience that everyone should experience.
The frozen
in a lifetime.
tundra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is special. Like the town is literally, I think, between 100,000 or 108,000, and the stadium holds, I think at this point, 77,000. So really, it just
That's crazy.
not that everyone in Green Bay is going to the game, but it really is an event.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
It's a hell of a ratio.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh yeah, we're still on this question. That callback though.
I don't know. Still making content.
Yeah.
I'll be married.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Shibby will
you-
be married too.
Maddie's engaged. Everyone
Yeah.
clap.
Married in July.
Please clap. And then Shibby, I got your save the date. You're getting married on the 4th of July
Yes.
in like the middle of nowhere in Montana. Is that
Yeah.
it? I mean, that's ballsy.
It's it'll be interesting to see who comes. I mean, I totally understand it's a big ask, but it's in Big Sky, Montana, and that's a very special place to me, and it's one of my favorite places on
I mean,
earth. So.
I think that's cool because, like, destination weddings, a lot of people complain like, oh, it's such a pain in the ass, but it really does like kind of weed out all of the people that are just like.
I mean, it's gonna be if people come, it's gonna be part for the wedding and part like you want to go on vacation, experience
Right.
the mountains, maybe go to Yellowstone.
Yeah,
Like
you
that.
got to go all in with that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Your picture is gonna look a lot cooler than a lot of people who just get married in like middle of Santa Monica or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see, but yeah, I'll be married.
I
Yeah.
might be married
Exciting.
in 5 years. I might not.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'll probably have kids then too. At
Oh,
least
wow.
Oh,
one.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you. Let's just
I'll be a father.
yeah. congratulate you now.
In
for
5
that.
years, Shibby's
Yeah.
gonna have kids. He's gonna have a couple Nintendo consoles.
Oh, that's
Uh,
it's all back. to
I hope
kids.
not. I hope Nintendo does something different.
You better invest in the NX now because that'll be your kid's console. 3DS, 4DS, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah.
The fourth dimension
5DX. Sticks your
actually-
finger
yeah.
up your butthole.
punches you in the face.
It just punches you in the fucking face.
What about you,
yeah.
Elliot?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, something like this. Like I've really painted myself into a corner, like career-wise. I don't really see making any big leaps. So probably in internet content.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, making more money for less work, because that's the goal of pretty much everything.
It's the American dream.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't be mad about that.
And also,
Yeah.
like, I kind of, I don't know 5 years from now, but at some point in the next decade or two, I'd like to have enough money saved up to kind of just like do something like if I have an idea for a movie or something like
Yeah,
that to
yeah.
actually like be able
Execute
to
it.
go and do that.
Cool.
Yeah. That's definitely one thing I want to try. It's like you move to this town to like make a feature film of some sort, whatever.
That
it
takes
be.
so much. Like
It's just crazy.
When you're young, you don't realize it, but you're like, yeah, if you want to make a fucking feature film or a documentary, like that's your job for the next
Yeah.
3 to 5 years.
If that, I mean, sometimes like a decade.
Yeah.
Of when it's comes to like writing it and finding a
Yeah,
good idea and,
and
stuff
then
like that
and
too,
then
yeah.
it's still not guaranteed if it's gonna be good or
Yeah.
anyone's gonna like it. So yeah,
For
it's
sure.
like a huge thing, but I mean, yeah, it's still something. I'm probably more on like the documentary side. Like documentaries are having a bit of renaissance now, so I think it'd be cool
It's
to
perfect
be able
time.
to actually go and do like a feature documentary. I've got like a few topics that I'm
How about you and Mark
interested in.
Cuban team up for an esports documentary?
He's got a lot of money, so yeah, give me a
Just give
call,
it to-
Mark.
There you
Yeah.
go. He's probably a fan of ETC.
Probably. I'd love to see his Shark Tank assessment of ETC News' value as a franchise. I would love that. He'd probably.
What's the
hate it.
scalability of ETC? How can we get
$100,000.
How can we get more of these into Walmarts?
I'll give you $5 million for 30%.
I love how he
That's
just.
well, that's a pretty good.
I heard that they have to like re-edit they have to completely re-edit Shark Tank out of the order that they shoot it in because like at the beginning of every season, Mark Cuban just outbids everyone for the first like 4 weeks of shooting, and so they have to like move everything around or else everyone looks bad next to Mark Cuban.
Oh, so they have, say, 30 entries, the first so many, 15. He's
Yeah,
just
because
like,
money's
mine,
just like
mine,
meaningless
mine.
to him.
Yeah,
He's just like,
yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And he'll just outbid the other like investors just to like be a baller.
Oh, for 15%, you'll do $250,000. Well, take a half for
Yeah.
5%.
He's such a crazy person that just has a.
You have to be
Infinite
crazy to
amount
be
of
that
money.
successful.
And he's getting into esports. Like, he was at a League of Legends tournament on stage, or the All-Stars. I think it was in Sacramento, something like San Jose. He was on stage. He played.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting into this for
Not
real.
surprising. He does like he has a good eye for like the what's around the curve. You know, like he had the
Wait. The world is flat.
no, like I mean like the valley
I know.
curve, like over the valley. If the valley's the future, which
Yeah, for
hopefully
sure.
it's not. But he had the first like high definition cable channel, you know, like
Yeah.
on and that obviously is ubiquitous now. But I could definitely see him. I feel like esports and Mark Cuban. Is there a better like peanut butter and jelly? Like
I love it.
Cultures
Like, come on.
really align well with each other.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Like he'll whoever the Dallas Mavericks of esports are, whatever Cloud9 or whatever it is, like
TSM, yeah.
just get like he'll just give them money. Do what you do, Mark Cuban. Rush the court, you know.
Yeah, on stage he dropped 2 F-bombs, and it's kind of funny if you guys didn't watch it. The first one he didn't know. They're like, "Oh, we have to fine you $15,000 for that." He's like, "Well,
In
if
esports?
yeah." And if they're like, "Well, what if I say it again?" They're like, "Another $15,000." He's like, "Fuck it." So then,
Yeah.
and then
Oh, he doesn't care.
Got fined 30
he
grand.
used to like get fined in the NBA because in the NBA, I think maybe it's still to this day, but if you're fined, like all that money goes to charity.
Yeah.
So he thought like, well,
Right.
I can either give money to a charity or like just get fined and it'll do the same thing.
Tax
so.
write-off.
It's a great tax write-off.
Yeah, yeah.
Swear in live sports.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Mark Cuban.
God bless him.
Yeah.
I like
What?
personalities. We like we shit on Colin Cowherd. It's like have an opinion and don't suck.
Oh, no,
you know?
yeah,
I love it.
I love the Colin
I have
Cowherd
so
stuff.
much respect for him. He does a show by himself.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you like just talk for 3 hours by yourself?
Crazy.
Yeah, no,
He's a good
He's
podcast.
a skilled dude. I might not agree with his assessment of like this.
It's a bunch of
future
booger eaters.
Esports, but the way he expresses his opinion on it is just fucking gold.
Yeah,
I
it was
wish he
great.
would just talk about it nonstop.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great week of just hearing him talk about esports.
Yeah, it's
It
great.
was great.
Like, and people
got so
people
sad.
got so upset, and
Oh
and
my
same thing with
gosh.
like Jimmy Kimmel making
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
of,
yeah.
and it's just like, come on, have a little bit of a spine and just take it. Like, not everything is so sacred.
Yeah, and I feel like the immediate reaction shouldn't be like this. You're stupid for making fun of us. Like it should be like, oh, you recognize us as a thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is great. Thank you.
yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not how a lot of young gamers react to things. Obviously, so. Oh,
Well, anyway, this was supposed to only go for a half an hour, but I think we got the full hour.
we did
Yeah. So
Boom.
the whole 9.
anyway, thanks for listening or watching. Hopefully
yeah.
listening or what? Actually, it doesn't matter. But yeah, once again, SoundCloud, search ETC
Yeah,
podcast,
we're on there.
iTunes, it's all there.
Remember
Stop
to
asking.
rate, favorite, review, subscribe. Don't give us 0 out of 10, please. 5
Yeah,
star.
maybe 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Not a
great
5
score.
out of 10.
Okay.
Definitely not a 0 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely not 0 out of 10.
But
Right, Jan?
yeah, we'll be back next week with Ricky fully intact.
You guys will be just back from London.
Yeah.
Little recap.
Yeah, a little London recap. Talk about all the teas we drank. So thanks for joining us today, Shane. At Shane on Twitter.
It's easy. Thank you, viewers, for tolerating me and not always tug Shibby.
They're not watching anymore.
Yeah, they've
Whatever.
They've left.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
the few
whatever.
of you that are still here, bye.
Bye.